Hello everyone. Welcome to the Rap Call. Today we don't have Constantina. She's in Alaska right now, having her time of her life. We're going to talk about exciting things today about Mosfet. So I hope you're excited for that, even without Constantina. As usual, please don't forget to add your name in the Etherpad and add some shout out. We have lots of people today, so I hope we've got some shout outs at least.
Kiki, probably you will need to be buttoned up. You are a little bit lower.
Oh, should I speak louder?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the heads up. Okie dokie. I have one for the Rep Council who has worked hard during the old times. So thank you for that. Does anybody have another shout out? So I don't see any other shout outs, but I see lots of people, so I'm going to greet them. We have Ufana, Jason, Kumarasan, Lydia, Matthew, thank you, Matthew, Shahbaz, Melinda, Marut, Monique, Panshu, Ravimba, Shubrenda. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Sonia, Stephanie, Suhail, and we have Fibo. I'm not sure who is Fibo is. Let's see, on the Etherpad, we have Mario, also Ranjit. So welcome everyone. I see some people in this room who haven't added their name in the Etherpad, so please do that. Because we don't have any other shout outs, I'm just going to welcome Stephanie and Bufana to talk about the first topic, which is so exciting about MOSFET. So Stephanie and Bufana, the floor is yours.
Hey everybody, my name is Stephanie. I'll kick it off. I actually work for Mozilla out of my home in Seattle, so it is just starting my day, whereas I understand most of you are probably late into yours. And I wanted to come on and just make sure everyone is aware that we're ramping things up for MozFest. MozFest is coming in October. For those of you who don't know what MozFest is, every year, Mozilla hosts this huge celebration. For the last 9 years, it's been in London. And this is an event where we invite people from all over the world to meet together face-to-face to support internet health, talk about projects that they're working on that are related to internet health. And I've put a couple links into the Etherpad here. On line 86 is the link for Mozilla Festival. 87 is the Internet Health Report, which talks about the 5 pillars of internet health. And for those of you who haven't been to MozFest before, we usually hold it in October. As I mentioned, it's in London. It's in this place called Ravensbourne, where we have 9 floors of a building, and each floor is related to a different part of internet health, whether it's decentralization, privacy and security, openness, all these different spaces. And on line 92, I've put a link to all the different spaces. We also have what we call experiences. So there are sessions and activities that are interactive, that are related to all kinds of things, including a theme that we have this year, Queering MozFest, that looks at LGBTQI+ issues related to internet health. We also have a neurodiversity experience where we look at issues for internet health that come with atypical neural folks. So whether you have folks who might have hearing challenges or sight challenges or something like that. So there are 2 parts to MozFest. There is MozFest House, which is the 5 days leading up to MozFest weekend, which is kind of the big celebration. MozFest House is celebrated in a space away from Ravensbourne University, October 21st through 25th this year. And it's a place where we hold sessions that are longer than your typical 60 minutes, 90 minutes. It's really more of an involved space. So examples of things that we've held there are day-long workshops on misinformation. We've held, actually MisinfoCon has been held there. We've also held workshops on open leadership in that space, fellowship workshops, all kinds of longer term, more heavily engaged participant events are held at MozFest House. And then on the weekend is at Ravensbourne, and we have sessions that range usually from 60 minutes or 45 minutes to 2 hours. These sessions, reason MozFest is different from maybe other activities or events you've been to is it's all very interactive. It's not like an academic conference where you have someone standing at the front of the room talking to you. All the sessions that are accepted for MozFest are expected to be interactive and engage participants. So if you have a project that you're working on and you want folks to give you feedback or provide support, MozFest is the place for you. It is community run and organized. The community leads, decides which sessions get accepted. So for example, Bhuvana is an openness wrangler. We call the people that lead each of the spaces wranglers. And so she is one of the people that gets to decide which sessions are going to be on the openness floor. There are wranglers for all the different spaces and experiences. They decide what the space looks like, they decide what sessions, they decide what spaces are going to be included. So again, it was volunteer wranglers who decided that we were going to have a neurodiversity space this year. So it's a whole lot of fun. It's very exciting. And what I would love to see is have a bunch of you represented there so you can get involved. Our call for proposals is open right now. It closes August 1st. And there is the possibility of travel stipends. However, we are in an attempt to make it easier for people to get visas that need them. We are doing a different travel stipend process than we've done in the past, where right now you have until July 1st. So basically 3 more days if you want a travel stipend, and you have to request a travel stipend at the same time that you submit your proposal for MozFest. So if you have an idea for MozFest and you want travel support, submit it now, July 1st, end date for that, okay? Would really appreciate too if you could shout this out to your community, let them know that this is happening. I'm always happy to answer questions. Something that's kind of new and special this year that might be exciting to get folks to come is it's our 10-year anniversary. So we've been doing this for 10 years. There's going to be a whole bunch of celebration around that. We're going to have some interesting things at MozFest House going on to celebrate it. We're going to have a book. The theme this year is artificial intelligence or machine learning. So if you have something related to that, we'd be particularly interested, and you would have a much higher chance of getting your proposal accepted. Also, this is the last year it will be in London. So be aware, next year we'll be moving somewhere else. I can't tell you where. We don't know yet. We don't yet know where. We're figuring that out. But if you want to come and see it in the Ravensbourne space and what it's been like for the last 10 years, this is your last year for London. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Bhuvana, who I had the pleasure of meeting last year at MozFest. And she is, as I mentioned before, she's now a wrangler. So go ahead, Bhuvana.
Oh yeah, thank you, Steph, and also thanks for being part of the Reps call today. Yeah, so I'm very much excited to share about my experience last year with you guys. You know, it was so exciting. So last year, as a facilitator under openness, I happened to throw out my idea about a project that included farmers, NGOs, and also it was a web-based game, and also had shared my experience previously in the Reps call about my MozFest 2018, just as soon as I finished I finished the festival, and yeah, so it's actually it all started with smaller ideas, and I started to gather around people to get more inputs on the same, and I got introduced to Mozilla open leaders as well during the time of MozFest, and that paved me the path to bring the project into reality. In fact, so I went through the 14-week program, and David Bild was my mentor there, and I happened to develop so many skills of a leader, and also how open source projects are to be actually maintained and stuff. So and this year I'm really excited to be a wrangler, because I guess the responsibility of a wrangler is even more than being a facilitator, and I'm really enjoying being this doing wrangling for openness again, because I was pretty sure how things happen under openness since I had facilitator session there. So with that knowledge, I thought I should continue it in wrangling again. And yeah, so we had a Moz retreat, which is a special program for the wranglers to get to know about what are the roles about, and what would we be doing throughout preparations for the MozFest for the for the coming October, and also that we had some experts like seasoned wranglers who like had experience as a wrangler before, and teach the new wranglers about how things have to be done. And so it happened during the month of May between 7 and 9, and we discussed and brainstormed on things that could actually happen, and we made a clear picture of how things will go. So it was just an initial start, like, so we get to know about each other and how are we going to work, because most of our works are going to be online for the coming weeks. So a one-to-one interaction, a physical meetup was very much required one, and I guess Moz Retreat is in fact very favorable for this kind of a program, or like meetup as well. Yeah, so these were the main things that happened, and especially during the Moz Retreat, yeah, so we try to assign or like get into the particular spaces that we want to wrangle about, and started to get more information on them, and also that more about things that we have to focus on, like how to make, especially how to make the spaces more interesting in order to attract more audience was the main objective. And the best part of Moz Retreat was, I just loved doing the activities outside. So people got so many opportunities to do things that they love to, like graffiti, where Steph was also part of, and yeah, so you get even a city tour, and I had a special interest towards the supercomputers. So yeah, I'm very happy that I visited the largest supercomputer in Europe. Yeah, so these are the fun part, and also the interesting part of being a wrangler. And of course, I know it's going to be even more tedious in the months to come, because we're going to curate all your sessions, your proposals, and yeah, I'm just excited to see a lot of people from reps and also from the local communities in your regions as well. Thank you, Kiki, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Stephanie and Bhuvana. I just realized that I use an external speaker. That's why my voice isn't heard previously. But now I hope you can hear me clearly. So is there any question for Bhuvana or for Stephanie in the room? I see there's one question in the Etherpad, but Stephanie has already answered that. Is there anything else?
One thing I will clarify is it might sound like if you don't have if you don't get a travel stipend, I want to make clear, so the travel stipend process is being done separately from the overall call for proposals process. So if you submit your call for proposal now, and you also submit a request for the travel stipend, if you don't get a travel stipend, we will be sending out a question later saying, okay, you didn't receive a travel stipend. Are you still not able to come? Because if you have been able to find a way to come, we will reconsider you in the overall call for proposals. I hope that makes sense. This was just a way for us, this was a way for us to make sure that we got travel stipend information to people as quickly as possible so they could get visas as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think it's an important part of MozFest because I like receive a lot of requests in the past, and this is actually a question. So I received a lot of requests in the past, especially for visa, to go to MozFest. Is it possible if they to ask for a partial sponsor, probably only for a visa, if it's not for a full travel stipends? Is it possible to ask for partial?
Yeah, so we have different kinds of funding. So we have full travel where we cover your transportation, we cover your hotel. We have funding where we just cover travel, so airfare, or we just cover hotel. There's also funding that covers all your transportation within London. So if you submit a travel stipend request, please be explicit about what you're asking for, because if we end up with more folks who just need airfare or just need visa or just need hotel, we could make those travel stipends go farther.
Cool. I've never been to MozFest before, so I'm super curious about it.
We would love to have you. We would love to have you this time.
From London, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of things.
You should be there.
We have another question in the Etherpad. So where does it or track proposals sent as of now to Mozilla Festival?
So as of right now, that information is not public because we're still collecting, since the proposals are still open. As soon as the proposals close, we will make them available.
Is it going to be in GitHub like last year?
No, we have a new platform this year. We just learned about it on the call right before this one.
Yeah.
In an effort to keep people's information more private. So we love GitHub because people could track what was going on, but we also had some issues where people's personally identifiable information was showing up in comments and throughout the discussions. So in order to protect that, we've moved it into a private platform.
Okay. Is there any other question for Stephanie and Bhuvana?
Also to add to Steph about the previous question on the travel stipend, you'll be getting the form as soon as the regular form submission that you do for the CFP. Once it's done, you'll get another link that goes that actually drives you to the travel stipend page.
Thanks for mentioning that, Bhuvana.
Yeah.
Somebody say, thanks for moving out of GitHub. So I don't think we have any other questions. So thank you so much, Stephanie and Bhuvana, for sharing information about MozFest. We are very excited about it, and I see people are also excited about it. Okay, moving on. The second topic about the resources rep is just a really quick update about the resources rep training. So we're going to have the training soon in early July, and it's going to be 3 weeks. Those of you who already applied should receive an email already about the first week on how you should do before the meeting, before the first meeting. And so, yeah, basically the training is still going to be in 3 sections. The first one is going to be the content preparation, which is basically how you prepare for an event. And the second one is about finance preparation, which we'll be talking about how to prepare even financially, in terms of budget and financial stuff. And the third one, which is the last one, is about the review, follow-ups, and yeah, basically we talk about how we're going to be accountable for our request, budget request or resources request. So yeah, basically those three topics, which are still the same as the previous one. So if you have any question, especially who already applied about the training, please let me know. And I hope you're excited for the training. Right, and oh yeah, and the final candidates will be announced hopefully by early August after the training session done. So yeah, that's all. Any question about resources rep training? I see some applicants here in the room. All right, if there's no question, I don't think that there will be a council update. I see Yofi here, but I'm not sure if Yofi is going to give an update from council. Yofi, can you confirm? Yofi? Okay, Yofi just chat me, said no. All right, so let's see if we have another shout out. Nope. Right, so non-verbal updates, I have one. So I put the link, your link, trackthiss.link. It's a very unique kind of thing that Mozilla just launched. So please try if you haven't. It's a really fun one. So yeah, please try if you, or share if you find it interesting. All right, so I don't think that we have another topic. So thank you so much for coming into this call. I hope to see you next week. See you all.